So the dogs get a little crazy. That's why I'll be muting a lot.
Good morning and welcome to It's How You'll Be Remembered. I am Julie Jones, your host and the Chief Encouragement Officer here at Today's Professionals. And with me today are two familiar faces here on the show, but we wanted to come back for a reason. We have Sheryl Powers and Kristi Cline with us today. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Hey, what a great way to get started.
Yeah.
I know, right? This is so fun. I know, Trash Truck Tuesday. I mean, here we go.
Who needs Taco Tuesday? We got Trash Truck Tuesday.
I know, right?
The stuff of life.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today is how to get the trash out of your job application process, because this has been a requested topic. There have been so many people reach out to me and say, what is going on? I am submitting resumes. I've had people say they have submitted thousands of resumes and it goes into the abyss or the resume black hole and the horror stories coming out of it. And I said, you know what? I have two ladies who can help us drill down on how to get the job we want and start 2026 off on a good foot. So that's the topic today for job seekers out there. If you're submitting resumes, let us know. If you're catching it live, let us know. Be sure to pop in and say hello and comment. We want to hear what you're seeing out there on the job market as well. All right. So, Kristi, I want to start with you because you're usually at the beginning of the process where we see a job description come through. It says, we're hiring and we're hiring for this position. And you go, I can do that. And you fill out the resume and you apply and crickets.
Yeah.
It's
so there's a lot that's happening. You know, when I launched my business 5 or 6 years ago, the big concern was ATS. Is your resume ATS compliant? Because a lot of people were developing their own resumes and they weren't getting seen. And that was a big problem. Well, now we've overcome that hurdle. And now the challenge is AI, because what's happened is companies are using AI to navigate the interview process and to do a lot of pre-screening of applicants. And honestly, sometimes it does a great job, but sometimes it does not. But AI in of itself helps you be more productive. So on the company side and the hiring side, they're posting these opportunities faster. They're also having more people apply to each role. So they're having to screen more applications. So to your point, Julie, somebody might be submitting 1,000 applications and hear nothing. And that could be true, you know, because of the number of applicants for each role. It's just too much. Companies are struggling to keep up. So what I would recommend, you know, is be very intentional with your applications. If you're using Quick Apply, don't. Right? Because everybody else is using it. So you're competing with thousands of other people that are trying to, you know, use that quick apply process. So the best thing that you can do truly is have conversations and have somebody hand deliver that resume or make that introduction to a hiring manager. That is the best way that you can get in.
Yes, and we're going to talk about that. Hi, Ron. Ron Kearns is with us today. Glad you joined us. He said my issue wasn't my resume. Believe me, his resume speaks for himself. He is so talented. He said, I could get so many interviews. And then he comes back and says, I could get the interview. My resume was great. So is it that you couldn't get the interview or you could? I think I'm not sure what that is. Clarify that for us. And so, yes, I think it all comes down. I mean, I know we talk a lot about AI, and, you know, AI is artificial intelligence, and it is, you know, it automates things for us and it makes our life easier. And it's so great. But in my world and in our world, actually, AI really is actual interaction, because Sheryl, you know about the human connection. You are the networking queen, and you love to highlight people, and you love to make connections. So tell us more about the human connection, the human side of this.
Well, it's an important side, but they're all important. I think first, and I just want to kind of just dial back a little, understanding the challenges and the obstacles is the first opportunity to then be able to overcome them. And then secondly, utilizing every resource at your disposal. Every single one. So you, Julie, you, Kristi, I mean, everybody in your network. And so that's where I come in, is helping people build the network. If you can't figure out how to get a jump pass past some of those obstacles by getting introductions to have the warm conversations, man, it is a tough road. It is a really tough road. I see the most brilliant people, students. I work with MBA students at some of the local universities, the most brilliant minds, and they're so good at what they do, and they can't get that interview. Like they can't, and if they do, they don't know what to say properly. So it's not just the interview. It's not just that appointment. It's, hey, am I talking to the right person? And am I talking to them properly and asking questions? So it's all of that. And we learn better when we're in our community, right?
All of it. Yeah. Yes. Let's say hello. Janet Bernstein is with us. So glad that you are here as well, gorgeous glow girl. She is a glow getter. So hi, gorgeous ladies. Love that you are all sharing your brilliance. The job market is cray right now. Absolutely. It sure is. And Ron piped back in and says he could always get the interview. It was getting past the interview, depending on networking, to schmooze to the interview or job. Makes for an unlevel playing field for people like me. You know, Ron, I know that you have a lot of obstacles to overcome, but I will tell you, your brilliance shines, and you need to get rid of that head trash, because you are brilliant at what you do. And so if you know Ron, you know what I'm talking about. He's amazing. So I think that this really speaks. There's a couple of things that I want to go talk about real quick. Let's go back to Kristi, and then we'll come back to the introductions and warm conversations. Kristi, what is one thing? And I know that we talked about, if you're submitting resumes over and over again, if you're submitting the same resume for every job opening, you're not going to get seen, right? Because there's something that all the AI bots are looking for when they decide who gets passed on to phase 2. And what is that they're looking for?
So I can say this with 1,000% confidence. All right. You must be tailoring your resume for each application. And I don't mean completing a completely brand new resume. I mean really just making small modifications in the top third to the top half of page 1. Now, what do those modifications look like? You're probably wondering. So these things would be, let's just say, the skills section of your resume. You want to make sure that the skills they are requiring are in your resume. I call that the mirroring strategy. I don't want you to lie. I don't want you to fudge. But if you have that skill that is listed in a requirement in the job posting, you need to mention that in your skills section. And to follow up on that, don't just list it. Like somewhere your resume needs to showcase or demonstrate that capability, that skill. So my advice here is to tailor each application, top third to the top half, to mirror the particular requirements for that job posting. And one more thing real quickly, and then I'll throw it to Sheryl. Companies are posting job opportunities for 24 to 48 hours, and then they're pulling it because there's so many applicants, right? So I highly recommend, when you're applying to a particular job, copy that job posting or screenshot it. You need to save it, because if you get asked for the interview, you want to be able to talk to what they need in that job posting. And if it's gone, it's gone.
It's gone. Yes. Yes. So true. So
Yeah.
true. We have Layla Smith popping in here. She says, it helps to make multiple resumes for each job description that you are wanting to apply for. Absolutely. And Ron says, oh, it took 5 years to get the job that he wanted, which is a dream job. He is in the perfect job for him. But Ron, that's why we are here today, is because it's not just you. There are people out there who are really struggling, taking in between bridge jobs before they get their dream job, applying for thousands of jobs before they get anything back. And sometimes they're overqualified, sometimes they're underqualified. And it just seems like we're just trying to piece it all together today. And so, Kristi, I love that advice. Save the job description and make sure that at the beginning of your resume, you are really completing it so that you're using keywords, right? If they mention a specific skill, make sure you have that skill in your resume, but don't lie about it.
Right.
Don't lie about it.
And really, when you're looking at those job postings, if you take one and review it a couple of times, you're going to start to see the same keywords populate. And when you see that, that means it's more important. If you see customer service, must have exceptional customer service, if that's mentioned like 4 times, that's clearly very important to them. If you see data analytics mentioned several times, or deep experience with analytics, you need to have deep experience with analytics. And not only should you showcase that on your resume, but you need to be prepared to talk about your experience and how you've used that skill in the interview.
Yes. 100%. Yeah. Because if they ask you about it, you have to have an answer that is truthful. And I think it's okay too, when we could talk about this more. Oh, hello, kitty cat. I think it's helpful to say, you know what, you may be looking for this amount of experience. I have this amount of experience in it. To be honest about, I may not have everything you're looking for, but I've got part of it and I'm willing to learn it. Because I think sometimes when they create these job descriptions, they're looking for someone who is perfect, but the perfect person may not be at this level yet, but it's about the person who can grow into that level, can add to the culture and be a great team player and be the leader that they want. And so sometimes even if you think, I don't have it all, apply anyway, because if you're the right person, then they will help you with the skill.
And to add on to that real quickly, Julie, you really want to make it easy as possible for the person that's reviewing your resume to connect the dots quickly as to why you're such a strong candidate. So I recommend that when you are reviewing your resume, like tonight or tomorrow, review it, but not through the lens of, did I have any typos or grammatical errors? Look at it through the hiring manager's lens. Are you quickly captivated by what's in that resume? Do you clearly see why you're such a strong applicant? Quickly. Yeah. That's the key, because you're fighting with thousands of people. So in 10 seconds, you have to have a compelling story.
Yeah, that is so good. So good.
So did you say 10 seconds?
Or less, really.
Wow.
I know. It's
crazy.
Like
a first impression. That's a first impression.
It is.
It's how you're showing up like that.
Which speaks to executive presence, which both Sheryl and Julie know tons about. And that is equally important. It's not just about your resume. It's not just about your LinkedIn profile, but how are you showing up on LinkedIn? How are you showing up in meetings? How are you showing up on calls? It's important. I think we should address that.
Yeah. And if your first interview is a Zoom interview, you better have your camera on.
Yeah.
Don't try to do an interview without your camera on.
Yeah. I mean, do people do that?
Yeah.
An interview.
I've heard that. Well, we talked about that at Connect Fest when you were with the university leader panel. Not only the cameras off, but then they bring their parents.
Yeah, I've heard that. And I don't even know.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. But I want to go to Sheryl and say, Sheryl, when you're applying for jobs, your network is powerful. We always say your network is your net worth. And so when you have relationships, you can go to the people in your network and say, who do you know? Who do you know that can put in a word for me? Who do you know that can give me a recommendation? Who do you know that can make a connection for me at this company? How do you tap into that? How do you tap into your network?
And it's really a great question, because one of the pushbacks that I get from people is they wait until it's an emergency to start building their LinkedIn. I'm sure you see that all day long. And I'm like, girlfriend, you've got 272 people on your LinkedIn. We need to grow that. You can grow it exponentially by tapping into the people in your network. So to answer to your question, even if you have 272 people, going into your search, right? So you want to go into your community, manage your connections, put into the filter section, the area, the industry that you want to look for, and then that particular position, put those in and see who comes up, and then see who you're connected with also there. So if you're having a hard time having a conversation with them directly and you're already connected, then find out who else they know who can help kind of nudge them along.
Yeah.
If you're looking for just the referral partner because you're not connected to anybody, but you look on LinkedIn and you're like, oh, Joe Schmo is actually the CHRO for this company, and that's who I'm going to be interviewing with, then you go take a look at their profile, see who you might be connected with if they're a second generation, and then have those conversations with those people to say, hey, I'm interviewing here. And just those little warm nudges, you never know. And the way I always open it up is, hey, you may not know this person, but if you do, and you know them well enough to make an introduction or at least a warm nudge, right?
Yes.
To be willing to do that.
Yes.
And people want to help, don't they? I mean, everybody wants to help.
Yeah. And
people know that's what LinkedIn is. That's the culture.
Yes, that's the culture. Absolutely. Janet says, yep, visibility is the most underrated part of the process. It is. You have to be seen. You have to get out there. And that was one thing I was going to say too. Don't just sit at home and think, I'm just going to sit here and apply for jobs. That's where you get into the thousands of applications. Get out there, get dressed up. Like, look, you don't have to wear a suit, but at least put an outfit together. Look like you put an effort into your appearance, and go out there and meet people. Go to a networking event, go somewhere, and go to a chamber function. Get out there and be seen, because that is really where people are going to start making connections, because it is the actual interaction that really helps, not just
it really is. And I mean, the holiday season is the perfect time and the easiest time to do some of your best networking. I heard, and I think I posted on this, but I heard from a colleague of mine a really smart strategy. She said, she said, ask to be a +1 to Christmas parties so that you can network at that organization. I thought, well, that's pretty creative and smart. Yeah. The other thing, to your point, Julie, about getting out and about, it's good because that keeps your conversation skills sharp, which you're going to need during an interview. But also, if you don't know where to network, just think about what you like to do for fun. Maybe start there. Like if you like pickleball, join a pickleball league and network and have fun. Like the two coexist, they can coexist together.
Yeah. And pickleball is huge right now. I'm running into so many people that ask me, do you play pickleball? And I'm like, I think I'm the only person on the earth that does not play pickleball.
I don't.
I mean, I'm thinking I want to. I want to try this. So fun. Janet says, yes, live as if you already have the job you want, because you need to be that person. Don't just sit at home and worry. Yes, yes, yes. I mean, that goes back into Zig Ziglar, right? Be the person first. Be who you need to be so you can do the things you want to do and have the life that you need to have, you want to have. Be first. It starts with being.
Yes.
Yes. So I love this. And Sheryl, let's talk, since we're talking about like, where do you go? So if somebody's watching this and they're in the Dallas area, the Dallas Fort Worth area, and they're like, I hate networking. I don't want to be in front of people. It's expensive and all the things that we always hear. You actually are a co-founder of Mid-Market Professionals. So we want to do a little bit of plug here because I like this group because number one, you can just go. If you register, just go. It's not like there's a membership fee or anything like that. Tell us a little bit about that because you have 3 or 4 chapters now. 4.
Yeah, we have 4, and we'll be growing in 2026. We've been working on our scalability that moves beyond Sheryl. So it's important, but it's been a process. But so yeah, just speaking to mid-market professionals, I really felt strongly about keeping the threshold low for those who are new into the entrepreneurship, new into the sales process, new business development, and that's why it's B2B. No dues or exclusive seats. That's really important to me. I like the cream to rise to the top. I don't like exclusive seat situations or paid dues, especially for those who are new into the process. Because like you said, it could bankrupt you both in time and money. And so this is really, we created Mid-Market Professionals to kind of be a sift and sort opportunity for people to go in and meet others like you, like Tony Caruso, and then tap into eWomen, right? Which is a paid. But it allows you to kind of test the waters a little bit and build your professional network pretty fast without it being a hefty price tag. Or for me, it was the time restrictions as well. Yeah. Like I just, so be aware. So back to your original question, when you said, hey, where do people go to network? First, figure out if you're an in-person or online person. There is a lot of networking online that can be done. Kristi has mastered this because of, your life changes. And that's so, it can be so powerful to go into that space and actually network online. I met some amazing people like the DFW Women in Manufacturing. That was one of the ones I met during, I met Kevin Pepper there online during COVID, because that's all you had was online. So figure out whether or not online or in person, online or in person is better or worse for you. Some people are belly to belly. They do not do well online. And others, it's the opposite. So then go into LinkedIn. I find that the best, or even Meetup to a degree, sometimes Eventbrite. I like allevents.in and just search the industries that you like, right? Or that you feel a synergy to or that you want to work in. And then the same rule applies for the in-person. Right. Find those that are, I like geographically pretty close so that you can easily schedule coffee with people or, go grab a lunch or something. And free is for me, give me 3. Like I'm all about find those initially when you're just getting started, because I think this is who we're talking to, right? That audience of people who are just getting started. Find those that are free. So that low threshold. And then if you can move into a paid opportunity, hey, do that. But you haven't shed out any cash yet. So it's a date. You're not getting married, right? So don't go marry everybody immediately.
Right.
Let's just kind of date around.
So just go. Yeah. There's lots of the happy hour type, events around where you can go, just register. Some of them are very low cost just to get in. I host a women's leadership roundtable once a month. It's called C-Suite Synergy. There's no fee to come to that. You just have to buy the ticket for the lunch. So there's a lot there that you can do that is low cost, that is easy entry point, that is not the commitment. You're not getting married. It's not the commitment, but you can come and check it out. And Janet says she loves networking both online and in person. And I will say too, it's okay to go through seasons. I went through a season where I was everywhere. I went to every event. And what I realized is it was too much. I had to scale back. And so, you go through seasons of like, okay, I need to regroup and figure out where I need to be. And it's okay. But the research that I found when I went to the Protocol School of Washington, and it's the basis of everything that I do, is that 85% of a person's success comes from networking. 85% of a person's success comes from networking. And so, if you go through seasons of like, okay, I need to regroup and figure out where I need to be. And it's okay. The research that I found when I went to the Protocol School of Washington, and it's the basis of everything that I do, is that comes from people skills. And this goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning, is that when you are the right person and you make connections and you know people, doors will open up for you. And that if you are only focused, and Sheryl, your students that are brilliant at what they do, they are brilliant at what they do, but if they can't communicate that and they can't go out and develop the relationships that help that skill set grow, then it keeps us stuck. And so the people skills are important in this. And even though you're sending out thousands of resumes, are you also getting out and meeting people? Are you also getting out there to expand your network?
Yeah.
Can I touch on that a second, Julie?
Yes.
When you're talking about expanding your network, I just want to encourage you to get curious. Curious is like a new word for me. Get curious about adjacent roles or adjacent companies. Don't pigeonhole yourself, like if you're doing a role in marketing and tech, consider a marketing role in something adjacent to tech. Now, I'm not giving you that advice. That's just like an example, right?
Yeah.
Get curious. And this comes back to Cheryl's point when you're getting curious on LinkedIn. The way that LinkedIn is set up, you can go to a company page. I don't know, throw out a company name. I don't know. Go to the company page. And then on the right-hand side, it will say affiliated pages. So those pages are companies that have something similar to the one that you're targeting. So get curious about those in the affiliated pages section. And the same thing applies for people. Let's say you're curious about pivoting to a completely different role, an insurance underwriter to a cybersecurity analyst, right? So you can look up people that have that role and reach out and ask them for a discovery chat. 10 minutes. Hey, can you just tell me 10 minutes? Like, I'm doing this pivot and I see that you're in the role that I want to be in. Do you have 10 minutes where I can pick your brain?
Yeah.
Most people have 10 minutes.
Yeah. And some people will give it to you. Some won't, but you have nothing to lose for asking. Right. And I think too, one other thing when it comes to networking and building your network, it's one thing just to show up at the events, but then you have to get in the event. Like you have to mingle. You have to go meet people. You can't sit in a corner, grab some food and sit in a corner and expect everyone to come to you, because they won't. You have to go to them. Yeah. And then it's really important that you schedule a Zoom call as a follow-up and get to know people and be curious about them. Yeah. What do you do? Tell me about, because it is through those one-to-ones that relationships are really developed. Yeah. It is not just by showing up. Showing up is one thing. And if that's your first step, take that first step. But know that if you just show up and expect people to come to you, that's not how it works.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and don't you think, Julie and Kristi, because I know you guys are masters at this as well, this is why we're having this conversation, is to how to have the conversation. So one of the things I really talk to the students and young entrepreneurs about in regards to networking is they feel like they don't bring value to the room, right? So they haven't achieved, they haven't arrived, right? Yeah, it is the trash and the headspace. Mm-hmm. So teaching them, encouraging them you can never go wrong, either networking or even in an interview, asking good questions. And those good questions should always be open-ended. What, when, where, why, how, which. And if you can master that, you will never be at a loss during a networking event. Everybody you meet will think you're the best conversationalist ever because you got them talking about themselves. And it goes beyond the business card. It goes beyond the business part, right? It goes to a pickleball conversation or the dog park, whatever.
Right.
Yes. Right.
Right. The dog park. Yes.
Yes. And then the other thing too is you're working through those people, not to those people. So super important, because when people come in and they're like, I need a job, can you hire me? Like
I know.
I know, right? You're working through me, not to me.
Right. That's so true. That is so
Be memorable in these conversations.
let me tell you, this is a great example. And I actually kind of took this guy on the road with me for a bit before he took on his big career. But when I was at the Transportation Club, I met a young man who started he was the president for the supply chain and logistics group at UNT. So they hadn't had one. So he decided, hey, I'll start one. He's a problem solver. Well, I met him because he just showed up at one of our lunches. He drove from Denton to Dallas and paid for his own lunch. And I would have totally done that. So that impressed me. I'm like, hey, I need to know you. Then dial forward, we kept in contact. And he told me that he started a business and he wanted to get to the mayor. And so what he did is he searched to find out what events that mayor was going to be at in Denton. And so when he went there, he's always dressed in a suit. So when you're talking about always being well presented, and he is just so gregarious. And he saw the mayor. At the end of it, he walked up to the mayor and said, hey, I've got a laundry business for universities that I want to figure out how to market. Can you help me? And he said, yes. They exchanged cell phone numbers. He texted him right there. And the mayor says, I have somebody who could be an investor in your business. And it happened like that.
Wow.
He's
Intentional networking.
Yeah.
Intention.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he showed up as the person, right? Yeah. He was being the person. I'm in a suit. I'm presentable. I'm somebody, because when you want to invest with somebody, you want to invest with somebody who looks worthy of investing in, right?
Right.
So that's great.
Yeah. And his LinkedIn profile reflected that. So that can't be a disconnect either.
Yes.
Well, show up looking good. And then your LinkedIn profile, it's got kitties and flowers and hey, nice, but not professional. Right. Keep it to Facebook.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Janet says she loves networking, both. And Layla says, yep, she loves people too. I know that. Janet gives a plug for C-Suite Synergy. It is phenomenal. And anything Sheryl does is top notch. We all know that. Yes. Woohoo.
Thank you.
And every amazing opportunity comes from relationships. When you come into a networking event and you are all about, I need a job, will you hire me? I need to sell, I need to meet my goal. And it's all about you, then you push people away. But if you come into it open and curious about other people, you're asking questions, you're wanting to make connections and build relationships, that's when the doors open.
Yeah.
You don't.
And the magic happens.
Yeah. You don't come in as needy. Right? As desperate, right? You want to come in as confident as the person that everybody wants to be around. Be that person first. Yes. Oh my gosh, ladies, this has been so fun. As it goes so fast, especially when the three of us are together. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So it has been so fun. And I hope that you got some great tips out of this as well. If you're struggling with that job market, make sure you're doing something different. Catch the eye of the AI bots. Don't send the same resume out to every opportunity. Copy and paste the job descriptions because they don't always stay up very long. And then also get out there and be curious about people. Build your network. Go to mid-market professionals. Go to C-Suite Synergy. Go get out there. Be seen. Be visible, because that is when the doors open. Every amazing opportunity comes from relationships. All right, ladies, thank you so much for your time. As always, I know you're all busy, but thank you for being with us today. If you catch this on the replay and you've got something to say, put it in the comments. We'll be watching for them. Thank you so much for this, and get out there and go get the job you want. Happy New Year to everyone. 2026 is going to be transformational.
Yes, y'all got this. You've got this.